What is it like dating a full-time artist? Are you dating? Have you tried Mgram? How to make art as a full-time thing? Best sets for beginners? Hi there again everyone, this is again Alan and welcome back to my Watercolor channel. Today in this video we have a very special content because I'm gonna be answering your questions from my Ask Me Anything story on Instagram. Last month I posted an Ask Me Anything question on my stories on Instagram and I received many watercolor related questions and I'm happy to share with you today my answers. For those who do not know, Ask Me Anything in Instagram stories allows you to let your subscribers ask you anything, and once you reply, you have the option to share also on the stories your response and also the question. Today I'm gonna be sharing answers, but I'm not gonna be showing anymore the identity of my subscribers who asked the questions because I wasn't able to ask permission. So I think we're ready to start, and actually I'm using my iPad now in browsing the Ask Me Anything responses, and the image that you're seeing now is a photo of mine at Park Güell in Barcelona. I used this because I was doing my plein air painting there. Anyway, this is the Ask Me Anything story. So the first question is, what are your inspirations and motivations in pursuing painting? And my answer is all the cliche reasons: passion, income, love, faith, all of these. Passion because I've been very dedicated and passionate like ever since I was a kid, or even before school. I've always considered myself as an artist. I really love art. Income, it's because it's what I do now. Love, because I really love what I do, and if you love what you do, everything comes smoothly. And faith, because I believe in what I am doing, I believe in what I can do, and I believe in the purpose of the things I am doing with regards to art. And art is really an escape for me. You know, it's a different zone. It's an artist thing. I know you understand me when I say it's an escape. Now, the second question is in Filipino. It says here, minsan na po ba kayo nawalan ng interest sa passion nyo and nahirapang bumalik? So in English, have you ever lost your interest in your passion, and was it ever hard to return? I think what she means here is creative block, and honestly I'm not sure if I had experienced that, but I'm sure that there were times when I'm really not in the mood. It's not like you do not know what to do, it's not like you do not want to do it, or it's not like you lost the idea on how to do it. It's just I don't want to do it right now. So what I do is I do something else. I eat, I rest, or I go somewhere else. I do something that is entirely not art related. I cook, or I go to the garden and plant. You need a diversion and rest. Third question is, hello, love your art and channel, thank you. What is your favorite limited color palette? So I have many palettes, and those palettes have different color selections. Actually, you can work with just 6 or 8 colors, and instead of giving you exact color names, I think I can give you a more precise pigment code set, because different brands have different colors and different names. I have 8 pigments here. I have PB29, that's ultramarine, PB16, which is a turquoise blue, PV19, the quinacridone rose version, PY150 nickel azo yellow, that's my favorite yellow, PR254, which is a pyrrole red, a warm red, PBR7. I know there are lots of PBR7, but I'm talking about burnt sienna here in particular, PY35, and PBK31, which is a perylene green. I can live with just these 8 colors if I had to choose just 8. Next question is, how did you get so good at painting? I don't actually consider myself as someone who's so good, but thank you for that. Well, I have 3 things in mind. Number 1, I always look up to an idol. Yes, I have lots of watercolor idols, and that keeps my feet on the ground, and I think that's very important. Number 2, I practice regularly, especially when I started this YouTube channel. I've been watercoloring every week at least. And last, the most important thing for me is to find time to rest. This is not a question. Ang pogi mo dito, that means you're very handsome in this picture. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, that's just a commercial. That's an icebreaker. Next question is best sets for beginners. This is the question I get the most, and I always answer get the best set that you can comfortably afford. I don't want to give limitations because there are beginners who are really good and I think they can already use artist grade paints. And there are also, artists who've been painting for years but still they consider themselves as intermediate, beginner, or learners, and I think they also deserve great paints. So for me, just get the best set that you can comfortably afford so that you can get the best results. And as a beginner, if you have made a piece that you are very proud of and you want to frame it, then your painting is on a lesser risk of fading. Next is best watercolor brand for beginners. So this is a related question. So I've answered earlier to same question that I don't want as much as possible to mention brands, but okay, there are lots of great student grade paints. Superior, Prang, Milyang, Sonnet, Van Gogh, those are all great brands. And the next question is what are your tips for improving landscape paintings? I have 3 tips. Number 1 is to develop your skill on framing and eyeing the best horizon location, because if you perfect this, then you already have a good sketch. Number 2 is to perfect your depth of field. So when I say you perfect your depth of field, you should be able to identify which are the things that are closer, and these things that are closer need to be more detailed, and the things that are farther from the viewer should be less detailed and sometimes less saturated. And lastly, master the light. A good watercolor painting, you should always remember this, always has good lighting. What is your absolute favorite watercolor paint? I'm not sponsored, but it's Daniel Smith. But hi, Daniel Smith. Oh, when did you start using watercolor and why is it the medium you prefer to use po? I've been using watercolor since I think 4 years old or 5 years old. But I got serious in 2017 and I started my YouTube channel on 2018. A year after I got serious with watercolors. And why watercolor? It's because it's very controlled and at the same time it's free. So it's very challenging and at the same time it's relaxing to use. May balak po ba kayo magtinda ng caddy paper? In English, do you have any plans on selling caddy paper? I'm not closing my doors, but as of now, I don't have access to caddy papers. But Art Whale sells caddy paper. If you're from the Philippines, you can reach them on Instagram as well. And for those who do not know, I have a watercolor store. I have a Shopee store. It's Archie's Watercolor Store. Please visit it if you are from the Philippines. Next question is, will you do any tutorials on specific subjects? An example, buildings, landscapes, etc. I already actually have some tutorials for landscapes, florals, and portraits, and hopefully soon for architectural, because for those who do not know, I'm an architect myself. So please visit the playlists that I have made here on YouTube. What is it like dating a full-time artist? Are you dating? Okay, this is a tricky question because I was only expecting arts related question, but it says here as a full-time artist, so it's valid. So to answer this, I'm actually married to watercolors. okay, just joking. Relationships are important to us as individuals, and since relationships are important, we need to allot time for them. Yeah, I leave that as my answer. So next question, rough, cold press, or hot press, HP? For me, the best is cold press. Then for some pieces, I go for rough. I've never tried the hot press because I love texture. Granulation, yay or nah? You know what? I've wasted some paints making swatches of granulating colors just for the satisfaction of seeing them granulate. That's true. And the image that you're seeing now is one of those examples. So it's a yay for me. How are the dogs you featured once on your channel? I've actually featured 4, I remember, and all of them are fine. The 2 are my sister's and my brother-in-law's dogs. They're French bulldogs, and they actually have a YouTube account. Please visit Vulcan and Ronta the Frenchies. They're so cute, they're so adorable. Next is, have you tried Mgram? If yes, please do a review po sometime in the future. Yes, I have tried them. Actually, I have all the 70 colors of Mgram. I super love these paints. I believe they're the most pigmented. I've actually created a portrait tutorial using Mgram paints. If I remember correctly, that was the Jesus. Next question is, what do you think of Schminka? Is it worth the price? For me, Schminka is one of the best. At first, I didn't like it, but when I got to try more and more colors, I started appreciating it. For me, they're the smoothest paints, and they're just so lovely and easy to use for me. How to be you po? This question was sent by a very close friend of mine. Here in the Philippines, if you ask someone how to be you po, it's like giving a compliment to someone who's very good at doing something, or it's a usual compliment to an idol. It's like asking someone, how does it feel to be like you? Or how come you do these things so easily? It's like that. So I answer my friend, you can't be me. So it's a joke, of course. So my serious answer is, I can't say just be yourself all the time, because that's not how the world goes. Of course, you need to adjust yourself, you need to adapt. But I've always believed that any person should at least follow one of his wildest dreams to be able to find his purpose. Next question is, which subject do you enjoy most? At painting, of course. For me, it's heritage architecture and religious subjects. Next question is, hello po, magkakaroon po ba kayo ulit ng mga bagong tutorials sa landscape, etc. sa YouTube nyo po in English? Will you have again more watercolor landscape tutorials on YouTube? So my answer is yes, I'd love to continue the tutorials, but I can't tell when because I'm still working on a lot of things presently. Anyways, landscape samples are always done in my brand reviews. So next is how to make art as a full-time thing. So this is quite an interesting question. This is very serious. First, you definitely need a strong connection and a network to get constant projects. It is also gonna help if you maximize social media and streaming sites to expose yourself to opportunities. Of course, social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and streaming sites like YouTube or TikTok. Leave no avenue unsurveyed. Explore any possibilities. That's how it works for me. These are my own experiences. I'm sure other professional artists have something to share as well. White Knights or Shinhan po? If it's Shinhan PWC or SWC, it's gonna be a tough match against White Knights. But still, I'm giving my points to White Knights because I feel like the entire line of White Knights is more exciting in a way that I think they have more colors and they keep on adding new colors. Like just recently, they added a pastel range. And also, I think they have more unique pigments as compared to Shinhan PWC. Next question is, your favorite po among all the paintings you've created? My favorite so far of all time is the cover of my first book, Simbahan. Here is a screenshot. It means so much to me because first of all, it's my first book. Second is, here it was not only just my watercolor skills that was tested, also my drafting and my architectural skills were tested here because here I designed a church facade wherein I put at least one feature from each of those 50 churches that were featured in the book. So this project was really challenging and it really squeezed all my creative juices out. What do you think about koi watercolors? I actually like the vibrancy of these paints, but eventually I realized that it was too expensive for its overall quality. The granulation of the sakura koi was kind of rough. It was like you are painting with sand particles in your paints. So I was really turned off by that. I would suggest you to watch my review on that, and I'm linking it here. Holbein versus Sennelier. Oh my, this is really hard. But if I had to choose, I think I'd still go with Sennelier because it's good for layering, which is also my style. But I'm not saying that Holbein is bad at layering. It's just that Sennelier is better for that style that I am using right now. Thoughts about DS Primatech. I have mixed feelings about it, honestly. I love many of the Primatech colors, particularly those colors that really granulate. At least two colors are part of my palette, and that's the Serpentine Genuine and the Bloodstone Genuine. I love Bloodstone Genuine. It's my black in my palette. What do you think about DS Primatech controversy? I personally do not agree with how the management of DS has responded to the issue, but I'm not expecting any paints to be entirely pure despite claims, as I consider many factors such as price and paint behavior and sources of pigments and all. But now I think what's important is my own experience about the paints. I have been using the Primatex for quite some time now, and I got no big issues about the Primatex, so I'm good with them. Next question, have you already made your own light fastness tests? Did you have any surprises? Sadly, not yet, but I've been really itching to do my own light fastness tests. I have reviewed at least 60 sets right now, and I have 20 or 30 more. And with this number, I think I need to allot more time to prepare my swatches for testing. And also, I need to research more about the process. Another Primatech issue. The Primatech drama put you off using Daniel Smith paints? So let me read my answer. No, not at all. I may not agree with how they've handled the issue, but my loyalty is dependent on my experience with the paints. If I leave the brand just because of their post or the paint composition issue, then I'd be joining the drama. And just to share, this painting that you're seeing right now, I painted this using the Primatex plus Nickel Azo Yellow PY150 because the Primatex do not have a yellow color. How much have you spent on your colors? I think now at least 700,000 Philippine pesos or 13.8 thousand US dollars, or I think nearly a million Philippine pesos if I include the brushes, the papers, and all the logistics, the shippings, the taxes, etc. Do you have any unusual palette, like a palette that doesn't include the usual paints or pigments? No, because for me, for as long as any palette has a clear blue, yellow, and red, it's not that unusual, and my palettes have those three at least. But I've been really dreaming of making an entirely granulating set, but sadly I can't find a yellow that is obviously granulating. So if you have any suggestions, please comment it below. So we're almost done. This is the last question. Sino pong local watercolorists ang ina-admire mo, you look up to? So in English, which local watercolorists do you admire most or you look up to? I have lots of local artist idols, and now I can mention two. First is Erwin Malyari, one of the Philippines' best. Nobody can argue with me with that. And JC Vargas, who is also an architect like me, is also a friend. And what I love about JC Vargas' work is that his works look loose, but at the same time they're very realistic. And when you watch him paint, it looks like he's doing it so easily. And yes, hands down to these two artists. So now we're done with our Ask Me Anything 2021 edition content, and I'm very happy and thankful for the exchange that I had. If you want these types of contents, please let me know at the comment section, and I'm actually looking forward to doing more of these types of content because the exchange is very healthy. To my Instagram followers who sent me questions, thank you so much for your time and for supporting me on Instagram. So that's all for today. Again, thank you for watching and see you on the next video. Bye bye.